stats and welcome. I'm going to give you guys an extra example for creating a box plot today. This is from lesson 1.8, just an extra example. We're going to make some side-by-side box plots in order to compare some distributions. And I am also going to give you guys a little extra practice on calculating outliers, finding upper outliers and lower outliers. And we're going to do that with this data. So it says if you're a dog lover, having your dog with you may reduce your stress level. Does having a friend with you reduce stress? To examine the effect of pets and friends in stressful situations, researchers recruited 45 women who said they were dog lovers. 15 women were assigned at random to each of the three groups to do a stressful task, alone, with a good friend present, or with their dog present. The stressful task was to count backward by 13s or 17s. The woman's average heart rate during the task was one measure of the effect of stress. The table following table shows the data. All right, so that's what these are. We're going to go ahead and first identify any outliers, if there are any outliers for the alone group, for the friend group, and for the pet group. So let's go ahead and get started with that. For our alone group, first thing I want to do is I'm going to make that five-number summary that we talked about in the lesson. So our five-number summary is our minimum, our quartile 1, our median, quartile 3, and our maximum. The minimum value in this guy, and remember, we're just right now looking at the data for the women who are alone and asked to do a stressful task. The minimum here is 62.6. Quartile 1, well, first, in order to find quartile 1, I should find the median. If there are 15 data values in this, right? So the median should be the one with 7 on each side, right? So if I count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that one, right? And that allows me to have 7 on each side. That is indeed the middle value, which is 84.7. Now, to find quartile 1, remember, I'm finding the middle value over here on the lower side, right? Our middle value is 75.5, right? Leaves me with 3 data values on one side and 3 data values on the other side. So quartile 1 is 75.5. We're going to go through the same process for quartile 3. And this middle value on the upper side, right, the side above the median, is 87.8. And our maximum is 99. That's the 5-number summary for this particular data. Now, in order to find out if these things are, if this distribution has any outliers, what I need to do is first find 1.5 times my interquartile range. I'm going to subtract it from quartile 1 and see if there's anything lower than that, and then I'm going to add it to quartile 3 to see if there's anything above that. Well, first thing I need to know is what is 1.5 times my interquartile range? Well, that's 1.5 times, and remember from previous lessons that our interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Let's go ahead and calculate that. And that value is 18.45. So like I said at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and take quartile 1, and I'm going to subtract from it this 1.5 times interquartile range, which is the number we just found, 18.5. And we know that quartile 1 is 75.5. And we're going to subtract 18.45. And we get 57.05. Are there any number values lower than 57.05 for the people alone? There are not, right? And so this tells me that there are no lower outliers. All right, next we're going to do quartile 3 plus 1.5 times the inner quartile range. Quartile 3 is 87.8. And we're going to add to that 18.45. And we get 106.25. Are there any values above 106.25 for our Wiener number alone? No. So there are no upper outliers either. All right, let's do that again, and let's do it for our friends. For friends here we go. All right, so let's make a 5-number summary for friends. I can spell, bless you. All right, and we are just dealing now with this group. So we're going to put our minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and our maximum. Our minimum here is 76.9. Quartile 1, well, let's find our median first. It's going to follow the exact same pattern, right? Our median is 91.4, and the middle on the lower end is 83.4. That's quartile 1. And the middle of the values above 91.4 is 99.7. And our maximum there is 102.2. So let's go ahead and calculate 1.5 times our interquartile range. And we're going to subtract that from quartile 3. And we will add that to we'll subtract that from quartile 1 and add it to quartile 3 in order to get this value and use it, in order to find our lower and upper outliers. So quartile 3 is 99.7 minus 83.4, which is quartile 1. So quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So that turns out to be 24.45. Now we'll do quartile 1 minus this 1.5 times my interquartile range, which we just calculated. We also know that quartile 1 is 83.4. We're subtracting 24.45. And we get 58.95. Are there any values lower than 58.95? Absolutely not. So there are no lower outliers. All right, let's see if there are any upper outliers. In order to do that, we'll add 1.5 times our interquartile range to quartile 3. We know that quartile 3 is 99.7. And we also know that 1.5 times our interquartile range is 24.45. Let's go ahead and calculate that value. And we get 124.15. There are no values above 124.15, so there are no upper outliers. All right, we've got one more to do to calculate these outliers. Let's do it for pets. Come on, let's hear it for pets. All right. Pets. No, anyways, here we go. First, I'm going to write my 5-number summary. And our maximum, all right, minimum is easy. It's 58.7. Again, it follows the same pattern, right? My middle value is 70.2, which is my median. The middle of the values below 70.2 is 68.9. That's quartile 1. And the middle of the values above our median of 70.2 is 79.7. 79.7. And the maximum is obviously our largest value in the distribution right there. So there's our 5-number summary. This looks bad. I'm going to fix it. 58.7 looks like 58 times 7. I just was not having that. So now let's calculate 1.5 times the interquartile range. Well, that's going to be 1.5 times quartile 3, which is 79.7, minus quartile 1, which is 68.9. Let's go ahead and calculate. And we get a value of 16.2. All right, let's see if there are any lower outliers by subtracting that value that we just found. 1.5 times IQ1, interquartile range, from quartile 1. Quartile 1 is 68.9. And the value we just found for 1.5 times the interquartile range is 16.2. Let's put that in the handy dandy calculator because it's a lot faster. There we go. 52.7. Are there any values below 52.7 in our distribution? No, there are not. So that means that there are no lower outliers. Let's see if there are any upper outliers by adding that value of 1.5 times our interquartile range to quartile 3. Quartile 3 is 79.7. And we've already calculated that value. It is 16.2. And let's go ahead and see what that sum is. It is 95.9. Ooh, are there any values in our distribution above 95.9? Heck yeah, there are. All right, so this one is an outlier. So we will say 97.5 is an outlier. All right, now that we've determined whether or not there are any outliers in the distribution, we're going to go ahead and make some box plots. We're going to make box plots for all 3 of these distributions stacked on top of each other so that we can compare the distributions. All right, so I went ahead and put the 5-number summaries that we have for each one. This one is alone. We got pets. We got friends. I swear this says friends. I know, I can spell. All right. So when we're making a box plot, the first thing that we got to do is draw an axis. So here's our axis, and then we got to scale that thing. Our lowest value that we have is for pets right here. So I'm going to start at 58. Then I'm going to draw out. We're going to go all the way up to our maximum value for all 3 distributions, which is 102.2. So my last one over here is going to be at 103. I'm going to go ahead and just put in those lines real quick. All right, so there we go. I have drawn my axis and scaled it. Our lowest value is 58. Our highest value is 103. And let's go ahead and start with alone. All right, so I'm going to make a box plot for alone. I'm going to use the 5-number summary alone. My lowest value, my minimum, is 62.6 for alone. So I'm going to go to around 62.6 and I'm going to put a dot there. Then I'm going to go to quartile 1 at 75.5. And I'm going to put a line. So quartile 1 gets a line. The median gets a line, which is 84.7, about there. And my quartile 3 is going to get another line at 87.8, about there. And then I'll put a dot where my maximum is at 99. We're going to go ahead and connect, just give this a top, give these 3 lines a top, and give it a bottom to make a box. And we'll connect our minimum to the box right in the middle, and we'll connect our maximum to the box right in the middle. And there we go. So keep in mind, this is our minimum. This is quartile 1. This is our median. This is quartile 3. And this is our max. And we're going to continue on that with each one of these to make some box plots that are nicely stacked on top of each other. So the next one we'll do is pet. Let's do pet. All right, so our minimum for pet is 58.7. Right about there. Our quartile 1 is at 68.9. So we'll draw a line for that one. Okay. Our median is 70.2 for pets. Quartile 3 is 79.7. Right there. And our maximum was 97.5. But, I'm going to connect these real quick. Did we not find an outlier for pet? We did. We found that this value, 97.5, was an outlier. So what we do is we go to the next point, 86.4, and we put our dot there. 86.4. Right about here, and we connect it to that dot. And then the maximum, we found that that value is an outlier. The way that we signify that on a box plot is with a star. So I'm going to put a big star, well, not a big star, but a shiny star, right there. That is how we signify an outlier, right? The next value up to the outlier, we draw the line to, and then anything that is an outlier gets a star beyond the line. That signifies that it's an outlier. Next thing we need to do is our box plot for friends. Friends are cool. All right. Our minimum is 76.9. There. And our quartile 1 is 83.4. Remember, we signify that with a vertical line. And our median is 91.4. Quartile 3 is 99.7. And our maximum is at 102.2. Right about there. Let's go ahead and complete the box. And we're almost done. We cannot forget to give this axis some sort of meaning, right? These are heart rates, aren't they? And then let's look at the data. What does this mean? Right, they did this study to see if doing a stressful task with friends, pets, or alone was more or less stressful by measuring heart rate. And it looks like, something unexpected, in my opinion, happened, is that it looks like people were more stressed out when they were with friends, right? We had a median heart rate that was higher than either group. And it looks like our lowest median heart rate was with pets. So it looks like pets decreased stress more than friends or being alone. And that concludes our next example, a little extra example for you guys for lesson 1.8. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and if you're not, I hope it gets better.